And then my top tips is my last slide, in terms of creating your award-winning submission. So I was just sort of brainstorming with myself the other day, how did we approach it? So I guess the first step was, I would call it kitchen sink. So literally, we got in a room, and we just brain dumped anything and everything that we might want to include in our most effective vulnerability strategy submission for the CCA. And we'd also undertaken a brainstorm with other colleagues who have been part of our journey. So, for instance, colleagues who are working with us in the vulnerable customer program space. So we had lots of content, lots of input. And then we took a step back and we created a storyboard. And I think this is something I would definitely say invest the time in doing upfront, because it almost helps you, write your submission. So what is that story? Where are you going to start? Where are you going to end? What's going to be in the middle? What are your proof points? And allow lots of time for reviewing and fine tuning. As Sharon was saying, I know December sounds like a long time away, but actually, to do this justice, you will, I would suggest, need to take that time. I think we reviewed our submission once a week, every week, for about 4 weeks, because every time we'd moved the story on, or we got a different input from a different team. And then do ask other people to review your final draft who aren't close to your work, because again, like anything, when you become too close, that you can't see the wood from the trees. So we did share our submission with people who are quite far removed from what we're doing, and that was again invaluable in terms of, well, what stayed with them, from our submission, what struck them, how else could we enhance the submission. So that was really really good. Include that tangible evidence of the impact. So we were able to demonstrate improvement in customer satisfaction scores when vulnerable customers were interacting with us. So that kind of tangible evidence. Our relearning had some fantastic statistics in terms of completion and feedback. So including that tangible evidence is really important. And be proud of your big wins, big successes, but also your small successes. There are things I think we take for granted that actually some of those smaller things end up having the biggest impact. So to give you an example, one of the things that I remember speaking to the judges about when we had our judges call was we were asked to submit a call to our customer committee, a vulnerable customer call, just to help them get closer to some of the challenging and complex interactions we were having. And we had come across this customer who had a really harrowing time, was suffering from PTSD, and this customer shared so much about their life on this call, because we'd created that safe space for them to do that. We shared that call with the customer committee, and I'll never forget getting a call from this unknown number. I answered it, and it was our chief risk officer, and he had been so moved by the call, and he was just calling me to share how moved he was, and how he was really impressed with the call handler, and he wanted us to recognise that individual, which we already had done, but we kind of did it again. So yeah, I think think about the small things and the big things. Also do a rehearsal. If you do get to that stage where you have an interview with one of the judges about your submission, do a rehearsal for that. Don't wing it. We again took some time out to check and challenge what kind of questions might the judge ask. If they asked this, how would we answer that question? So really doing that prep was again sort of, I guess, paid off. And then in that call, and I guess right throughout the submission, let your passion shine through. This is just all about being, hopefully as we can be, as authentic as we can, and put putting your kind of I guess best story forward. So that would be my top tips. I hope that helps. I know some of it obvious, some of it probably I would just say don't take it for granted how much time you probably need to really nail it.